The United States is a strong and resilient nation capable of withstanding attacks from multiple enemies. However, the vulnerability of individual states varies significantly. This discussion focuses on which U.S. state would be the most susceptible to invasion and which would be the toughest to breach. Alaska often ranks near the top of lists concerning defensibility due to its unique characteristics. Its remote location in the far northwest of North America presents natural barriers that are hard for invaders to overcome. The state's rugged terrain, icy landscapes, and vast uninhabited areas create formidable defenses. Additionally, Alaska's extreme cold, recording temperatures as low as -80°F, further complicates any invasion attempts. Overall, Alaska's geographical challenges and harsh climate make it a particularly difficult target for invasion. Alaska's coastline stretches for 34,000 miles, making most areas nearly impossible to land on. Any ground invasion would have to cross the 450-mile border with Canada, which features some of the toughest terrain in North America. This makes invading Alaska a logistical nightmare. If an invading force manages to get through, they would face a significant military presence in a state that covers 665,000 square miles, but has only 733,000 residents, making it the most sparsely populated state in the U.S. Despite its low population, Alaska has the second highest concentration of military personnel, with over 20,000 active duty members and nearly 7,300 National Guard and Reserve members. There are 9 military bases in Alaska, including Fort Greely, Eielson Air Force Base, and Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage. Alaska is also home to the Army's ground-based Mid-Course Defense anti-ballistic missile system, enhancing its defense capabilities. In 2022, Fairbanks was a top defense spending location with $451.4 million spent, while Anchorage accounted for about a quarter of the state's total defense budget of $4 billion. Alaska's additional forts, like Fort Hall and Fort Abercrombie, provide further defensive stronghold. However, Connecticut has only 4 major military installations, with just 2 traditional military bases, the Naval Submarine Base in Groton and the Marine Base. The other 2, the Coast Guard Academy and the Coast Guard Research and Development Center, focus on training rather than active military operations. Notably, the U.S. Army, Navy, and Marine Corps have no bases in Connecticut. Natural defenses in Connecticut are limited. While the Connecticut River and Bear Mountain provide some barriers, they are minor compared to the defenses in other states. Additionally, Connecticut is the 4th most densely populated state in the U.S., complicating defense logistics. Connecticut is aware of its vulnerabilities, which is why it increased its Department of Defense spending in 2022, ranking among the top 10 states with $22.3 billion allocated, primarily in New London, Hartford, and Fairfield. This investment has helped it avoid being ranked as the easiest U.S. state to invade. In contrast, California spent $56.2 billion on defense in 2022, making it the 3rd largest spender in the U.S. due to its numerous military bases, defense contractors, and research institutions. For example, San Diego alone accounted for $11.9 billion of this spending, housing major military installations like Camp Pendleton, with over 42,000 active duty personnel, and the San Diego Naval Base, which has more than 24,000 military personnel. California ranks first for the total number of military bases in any state, including the Sierra Army Depot, Los Alamitos Joint Forces Base, and Edwards Air Force Base. The state is also home to the highest number of active duty personnel in one state, with 158,784 troops ready to respond in case of an invasion. California's extensive interstate network, with almost 30 interstates, allows for rapid troop movements and logistical support. However, its 840-mile coastline presents a potential vulnerability. Overall, California's geography, featuring both the highest and lowest points in the contiguous U.S., Mount Whitney and Death Valley, generally supports its defense readiness.
California's easily accessible coastline creates several defense vulnerabilities, preventing it from being ranked as the hardest U.S. state to defend. In contrast, Virginia boasts significant natural defenses. The Appalachian Mountains to the west provide rugged terrain and dense forests, ideal for defensive strategies. The Shenandoah Valley offers a defendable corridor, while the Chesapeake Bay to the east features extensive waterways that can control enemy movements. Virginia's 213-mile coastline is fortified with naval bases and ports, making it hard to invade. Virginia ranks among the top states for military bases, including the largest naval station Norfolk, which has over 82,000 personnel. Other notable bases include Marine Corps Air Facility Quantico, Fort Belvoir, Langley Air Force Base, and NAS Oceana. With its strong military presence and natural defenses, Virginia stands as a formidable state against potential invasions.
Virginia has a strong military presence with 125,162 active duty personnel, making it second only to California. In 2022, Virginia led all states in military spending with $62.7 billion, nearly 10% of its GDP. This funding primarily supports equipment and technology, with 8 cities receiving defense contracts worth over $1 billion each, including Fairfax and Arlington, where the Pentagon is located. Now, turning to our top pick for the hardest state to invade, Texas. It has a formidable defense with 112,583 active duty troops, totaling 177,072 when including reservists. Texas is home to 2 of the largest military bases in the world, Fort Hood and Fort Bliss. The state is also a military favorite, housing numerous bases in San Antonio and investing heavily in defense, with a $58 billion budget in 2022. This investment supports equipment, personnel, and infrastructure, solidifying Texas as a powerhouse in U.S. defense. Texas has a strong military presence and is well positioned for rapid troop and equipment reinforcements due to its central location and extensive interstate network of over 20 highways. The state's diverse terrain, including rugged hills, deserts, forests, and plains, poses unique challenges for any invading forces. Natural borders formed by the Rio Grande, Red River, and Sabine River further enhance Texas's defenses. At 268,820 square miles, Texas is the second largest state in the U.S., making it difficult to invade and control. Even without its military resources, Texas citizens would likely rise to defend their state. The strong sense of Texas pride, encapsulated in the motto, "Texas Forever," further strengthens its defense. In contrast, Rhode Island is considered the easiest state to invade, as the smallest state at just 1,214 square miles. It has only about 3,000 active duty military personnel and 3 military bases, none from the Army or Air Force, with limited routes for defense and a military budget of $1.60 billion, mostly focused on one city. Rhode Island lacks the resources to effectively repel an invasion. Its flat terrain and coastal accessibility allow invaders to easily approach from multiple directions. Overall, while Texas stands strong in defense capabilities and pride, Rhode Island's size and limited military resources make it vulnerable. What are your thoughts on this ranking? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments.